Welcome, Badass Manifester. I am so glad you are here. I'm your host and head coach, Ashley Gordon, master mindset and manifestation biz expert, founder of the quantum coaching certification, and multiple six-figure entrepreneur obsessed with empowering you to create quantum leaps in your energy, your life, and your business. This is the show to help you make magic your everyday normal, where the ripple effect is real and the guest experts are world class. My mission is to power your conscious and subconscious mind with manifestation teachings, business tools, and coaching techniques to put your potential into action. Consider this your weekly up level. Are you ready for quantum transformation? Let's do this. Hello, Badass Manifester, and welcome back to another episode of the Badass Manifester podcast. I am so excited for this episode. I've been wanting to do this for so long, and that is talking about manifesting your life through your health and really knowing that your health is your wealth. And I take that very seriously, and I don't talk about it that much on here, but people that are in my daily life, they know that I'm like a freak about this stuff. So I'm really excited to chat because this solo is kicking off a wellness series, wellness and manifestation, where I want to bring you experts. I have brought you experts. I've had the most amazing interviews with people that are experts at detoxification, detoxifying your body. We have Ginger DeClue. We have a biohacking expert, how to actually biohack yourself to health and wealth with Pavel. He's amazing. We have a gut and hormone specialist, Dr. Heather Finley, who talks about gut health and gut healing and how that is really the leading edge of I think where our health system should be going and it will be going, taking our health into our own hands. And I have worked with all of them in different capacities. So I'm really excited to start this conversation off with just some personal shares of the way that I live my life and how I think living this way contributes to manifesting health, which to me is absolute wealth and absolute freedom. If we have health, we have everything that we need. And they're so intimately connected in manifesting your life on purpose, because without our healthy bodies, we can't do all the things that we came here to do. So I'm going to kick off with when I used to, in my old life, do modeling. I used to do modeling for just so many different things. And one of the oddball modeling jobs that I had was modeling for a medical device company. And I was their model to do ultrasounds on for this new ultrasound machine. And I remember laying there and the guy was ultrasounding my thyroid, my neck. And he was like, you should get your thyroid checked out. Well, that sent my nervous system through the roof. I was like, okay. And it scared me. So I went to the doctor. I got blood work done. I got a thyroid ultrasound, like a real one. And I learned that I had Hashimoto's, which is a thyroid disorder. It's an autoimmune disease. And at the time, I was in this very hardcore manifestation time where I was I didn't fully understand manifestation, but I was ignorance is bliss. I'm going to pretend like I didn't hear that and I'm fine. Right. And I went to this doctor and he gave me, the thyroid medicine. It was Synthroid back then. And he was like, you're going to be on this for the rest of your life. Have fun, have a great time. And I was like, I'm not taking this medicine because I didn't want to take anything. I'm very anti-medicine. Well, I'm a mix now, but back then. So I said to him, I'm not going to take this medicine. Meanwhile, this doctor in our area, he was just known as he would just prescribe you with medicine. And also he killed his wife and now he's in jail. So this is who this doctor was. Anywho, I said to him, what if I don't take it? And he was like, then you're going to literally be crawling back into this office, on your hands and knees. I'm like, okay, that was super fucking intense. So I took the medicine for maybe 2 weeks and I started getting cystic acne and I was like, no, I'm done with this. So I stopped taking it. I then just went on to live my life and I went to a doctor later, just a family doctor. And he retested everything and he was like, honestly, I wouldn't be putting you on thyroid medicine with where your thyroid levels are right now. And I was like, okay, cool. It wasn't until I started experiencing infertility that I started to take my health a little more seriously, where I was like, well, maybe actually there is a thyroid issue and maybe it's creating a hormonal issue. And so I just didn't understand how much hormone health can affect literally your entire body. And the thyroid is like the governor of all of your hormones. So when I went to a fertility clinic, they said my thyroid needed support. So I ended up taking levothyroxine. And I was like, okay, this isn't ideal, but I really want to get pregnant. I had other goals and I was being a little bit more realistic and not so ignorant to things. And I'm like very much so that ignorant type where I'm like, I'd rather not know. I'd rather not do that. I don't know. Some people are like, I need to get every test under the sun to know everything about me. At that time, I was like, I don't want to know anything. And now I feel like I want to know everything. So anywho, I started taking the thyroid medicine, my thyroid leveled out, and I actually did feel better. Like I was really tired a lot. I was draggy. I felt more energized. And during my fertility journey is when I really started to have this deep desire to cleanse my body, heal my body, and want to take better care of myself. And I thought everything that I put in my mouth would affect my fertility. I was like, oh, if I have a sip of wine, it's going to make me infertile. I was getting a little out of control with it. And yet it helped me revamp everything. I was already eating organic. I was already eating like as much organic food as possible, always organic food, except when I go out to eat. But I was really determined to, quote, fix myself, fix my health. And it took me on this whole journey of low-tox living, learning about so many different toxins and how they really infiltrate our bodies and what they do to our bodies. And the first real introduction to understanding this was I picked up a medical medium book. And some of you probably know medical medium. Some of you are like, who? But medical medium I really love him. His name is Anthony Williams, and he channels all of this information, and it rings true to me. It doesn't ring true to everyone. People have things to say about him, but for me, when I read his stuff, I'm like, oh my gosh, this makes so much sense. So I got his book. I really recommend Cleanse to Heal. It's such a good book, and I was just learning about all of these environmental things that are impacting our health. I learned about heavy metals. I learned about what they're spraying from the planes in the air and the sky, pesticides, just so many invisible things that are infiltrating our system and causing us to have mold or heavy metal poisoning or autoimmune disorders or things of that nature. And there's more that I'm missing right now, like as I'm trying to remember all the things that he says in his book. But it really got me motivated. And I remember I was like, okay, I'm going to radically change the way I live my life. And understanding the benefits has really helped me just want to live healthier overall. I mean, living a low-tox life, it means removing toxins that are autoimmune causing toxins, cancer causing things, pathogen causing, virus causing. And a big part of what the medical medium teaches is that it's these viruses like Epstein-Barr and the herpes virus that get in us that are like the root cause of a lot of the issues that so many people face with their health. And if you really look at our society, I mean, we're primarily a very, very sick society. And it's so obvious to me how healthcare it's not preventative healthcare, right? It's like you're sick, you need this medicine, instead of these are the ways that you can make yourself healthier. If you get your gut tested, if you understand how to detox yourself, natural ways to take care of yourself to prevent diseases. Preventative healthcare is, I think, where, and I hope where the future is going. But there's so many people online that are coaches and healers and practitioners of this work. And so many people, including myself, have said, I'm going to take my health in my own hands because I don't believe that healthcare is one size fits all. I believe that we have to take care of ourselves in a very personalized way. And, you can go into a supplement store, but not all supplements are for everybody. Not all probiotics are for everybody. You think you're going and buying the most expensive probiotic, but that might not be what your gut actually needs. But if you did a gut test, you would understand what your gut is lacking down to the bacteria. So taking a more personalized approach to my health has been such a game changer for me. I heard this saying from an amazing gut and hormone doctor, and she said there's a difference between your lifespan and your health span. And that really hit me because I want to live a long life and I want to feel good. I want to feel healthy for my long life. I don't want to feel sick. So there's people that live long lives, but they're sick and they can't experience everything that they want. And there's a difference between lifespan and health span, right? So really cracking down on that for myself has been so big, and just getting clear around the environmental toxins. There are also so many toxins in our daily life. Common sources of toxins are in our personal care products, our makeup, in our cleaning supplies, in our detergents, in our soaps, in our food, in our water. There are so many toxins in all of these areas. And I've gotten really good at reading labels, and there's an amazing app that I'm going to share with you. It's called the EWG app. It is such a great app to scan products and labels and search them to see where they fall, and it lists every single harmful chemical, and it tells you why it's harmful and what, if it's cancer causing or autoimmune, blah blah blah. It tells you if there's fragrance in them. Simple hidden toxins in household items. Like I used to be obsessed with candles, but candles have fragrance in them. So as soon as I was like getting into this through all my fertility, I stopped using scented candles. I use all natural soy, candles. There's certain non-toxic candles that you can get that are made with, actual essential oils. You're going to hear from Ginger DeClue, who is an amazing detox coach who I work with and I love her. She talks about how it's overwhelming to change every single thing in your life all at once. And I don't want you to do that either. Everything that I've done has been over time. It's just like building a business. It's one thing at a time. It's not, you don't have the podcast and the book and the programs and the students and the one-on-one clients all at one time when you first start. It's signing that first client and then starting that first podcast a little later. And then it's one step at a time for everything. And she says the best thing to do is start to clean up what you're putting in your mouth. So it starts with the food that we eat. If you're eating non-organic, can you switch some things to organic? If you are drinking soda, can you switch it to water? If you are, eating things with a lot of sugar, can you take down the sugar? And start to pay attention to the things that you're putting in your mouth. Then for me, it was, what am I putting on my body? Because the skin is like the biggest organ that we have. And so I cannot stand the store Bath and Body Works. No offense if you use their products, but I don't even know how they're in business. It should say toxic Bath and Body Works. Like, it is so incredibly toxic. My mom used to use their stuff all the time. So I grew up on Bath and Body Works. And I feel like that could have really been such a big hormone disruptor for me for like my unexplained infertility. But I switched out all of my products that I was using on my physical body. And I have created an Amazon store. I created an Amazon storefront for you to share all of the products that I use. It will be linked in the show notes so you can go through them and check and see if there's anything you want to purchase for yourself to start this process for yourself. I switched my shampoo. I switched my body wash. I've switched my body lotions. I switched my makeup. I switched my detergents. I switched my sheets, my comforter to all organic materials because they're oftentimes with furniture, there's formaldehyde that goes on furniture. There's PFAs. And you should do your own research on PFAs, but it is a chemical that is extremely toxic. It's a forever chemical. And once you learn about PFAs, you can't unlearn about PFAs. So I started getting a little nutty about all the PFA things that we touch every day, such as PFAs are in a lot of furniture. So a lot of furniture I buy now is like green furniture, probably more expensive, but I don't want my child rubbing his, face on formaldehyde PFAs. And then, so like the newest couch that we got is chemical free. It's not treated with any of the PFAs. PFAs are in a lot of pots and pans. We've replaced all of our pots and pans. PFAs are actually in toilet paper. So I've replaced my toilet paper, and I will share everything that I buy in my Amazon shop and in the show notes. PFAs are in tampons. I only use organic tampons, very specific ones. Even down to the muffin container that I cook muffins in for the baby is non-toxic. And that's just a choice for us that's really important to make, because these are things that we use on a consistent basis. We changed our dishwasher soap to a company called Blue Land. Again, I'll post everything in the show notes. And that's good because that's like what's washing your dishes. Any soap we've changed out over time. And anything I want to add a scent to, I use essential oils for. doTERRA or Young Living essential oils, all natural essential oils. The other thing that I am like a freak about and really annoys me are the natural flavors in so many foods. Really look for natural flavors. One thing that so many people drink, all of my friends drink, are the club sodas, the club soda cans. And aluminum's not the best to drink out of anyway, but 80-20 rule, right? If you're going to drink out of it, drink a club soda that doesn't have natural flavors. The only one that doesn't have natural flavors is Spindrift. And I'm only aware of that for the lemon and the lime. I don't know about their other flavors, but it's made with real fruit. Every other can does have natural flavors. And natural flavors, even if they're organic, are synthetic. They're chemicals. And they're actually not natural at all. And there could be 100 ingredients just in natural flavors alone. If you just go on TikTok and look up natural flavors, there'll be so many people ranting about it. It's in so many kids' foods and adult foods. So many kids' foods. All the little bars I buy him have natural flavors. Again, 80-20 rule for myself and for him. But just be aware that they are everywhere and they're not the best. They're not the best. They actually drive me absolutely crazy. That's why I like making our own muffins instead of using the bars, because I know what's in the muffins. I cooked all the ingredients, And then the other thing that we've really eliminated as much as possible is plastic. Now, I'm not perfect with this. However, I would say 85% of the time drink out of glass. And we still do buy plastic water bottles because they're so convenient, and I want to eliminate that. That's my next thing, but it's also a household thing. I got to get my mom on board, my husband on board, anyone that's in the house frequently, because they reach for them, and it's nice to have for guests, but also it's bad for the environment and it's just not good for you to drink plastic. I have been a little bit more lenient with the baby. I do think that drinking out of a hydro flask or glass is always the best, but kids are not good with glass. And there are so many other baby cups that are made with that stainless steel material, but you have to be careful because a lot of the other cups that they make, they have lead in them. They have chemicals in them. And it gives that leach energy, leaching vibes, it leaches into the water. And so I'm kind of a freak about that stuff. My mom will buy cups and she's so sweet and she's trying to do something nice, but I'm we need to return these because they're plastic and I'm trying to eliminate plastic. So I like the Zach cups for kids, but primarily I'm a hydro flask person through and through, because it is one of the only, even Stanley mugs have lead in them. And the little tiny thing at the bottom, if you, again, TikTok is my Google for this stuff. If you look it up, not to make you crazy, but it does. And I'm just a freak. Like I'm just a freak about that kind of stuff. So I'm very, very, I should say I'm not a freak. I should say I'm very, very mindful about the products that we use, why we use them. I used to use paper plates a lot. We have them in the house. They're very convenient. For the baby, I would put hot food on them and cut them. There's PFAs in paper plates. So you want to be careful because it's coated. It's coated with something. The to-go coffee cups you buy, they're coated. Be careful. They're, again, 80-20, right? If you're drinking them all day, every day, I probably wouldn't do that. I have definitely been on a journey. There has been times where it's been so consuming for me and it's really hurt me, my nervous system, to like be worrying and anxious about everything that we use and consume, because everything is toxic if you really think about it. Most things are. We live in a very toxic environment, toxic world where we're being sprayed aluminum from the sky, and on the ground there's pesticides, and in our water there's bacterias and pathogens and chlorine, and it's a lot. That's another thing that I'm really about is the water that we drink. I'm really particular about the water that we drink. I have clearly filtered. It's called clearly filtered. I'm just writing this down so I can like put it in the show notes after. Clearly filtered is a great water filter for under your sink. It only works when the spigot is turned to cold. So it's super filtered, super filtered. I take that filtered water and I put it into another filter that I keep in the fridge just to have like extra filtered water. I did buy one of those water things. What is it called? The Kangen water. If you've ever heard of that or have that. I was like so excited about the Kangen water thing. It was like almost $5,000. And I'm like, this is so crazy. Why am I spending this on this water machine? But it was very important to me. And then I come to find out that the Kangen water machine doesn't have an internal like filter. It doesn't filter out anything but chlorine. And there's so much more crap in the water than chlorine. So if you are using the Kangen water, I highly recommend having like it pre-filtered. So like either having a whole house water filter, which is on my vision board, I want a whole house water filter, or having like a smaller filter that can filter that water and then ionize the water. Because ionized water is great and it's awesome, and it takes out the acid in the water, which is awesome, and it like absorbs better in your body and it's more alive, all of that. And if it's not filtered, it's basically like energizing and ionizing like all the bad crap in the water, and you're drinking that. So just be mindful. These are just things that I picked up along the way. Another thing that's in the medical medium book that I've gone back and forth on is eggs. A lot of people have a lot of mixed things to say about consuming eggs, and eggs by themselves are like a perfect food. They have so many vitamins and so many good things in them for us and for kids. However, in the medical medium book, I'm not going to say this perfectly, but it's along the lines of like when bacteria and pathogens were created by the powers that be, it was created and fed eggs. And so all the bacteria and pathogens that can like activate autoimmune diseases within us, a lot of times when we eat eggs, it's feeding the pathogens in our body. It's feeding the bacteria in our body, the viruses in our body. So if you have an autoimmune disorder, I would stay away from eggs. And I've been off of eggs now for over a month and I feel so good. I've also been off of gluten and dairy, so I don't know what is causing the most impact, but I've been feeling much better. And I do miss eggs, but I would rather feel the way that I feel than have eggs. I also limit eggs for Maverick as much as possible. Like maybe once a week he'll get eggs, and we get eggs from our babysitter who has chickens in her backyard, and they're fed all organic everything. So I really trust the eggs that we get. But eggs, especially overall, they must be organic. They must be like pasture raised organic eggs 100% if you're going to eat eggs. But again, I really recommend the Medical Medium book. It's going to be in the Amazon shop along with the other books that I get from him. I'll also share some of the supplements that I use to help with pesticides. There are natural things that you can do because no matter what, we're consuming pesticides. It's in our fruits, it's in our vegetables. Even if you buy organic, it's still there. Another thing that I'm really passionate about is washing the fruits and veggies really, really, really well. I never used to do this ever. I would just eat shit right out of the carton. I didn't care. I didn't think about pesticides. I regret that now. So when I'm washing all of my fruits and veggies, I put them in purified water. I mix a tiny little bit of vinegar. You got to get distilled vinegar at your house. It is like the ultimate cleaning product. That is also how I clean my counters. I put water with vinegar in a spray bottle and I clean my counters that way. It's the most natural. It's the most natural cleaner and it kills bacteria. It also kills pesticides and gets them off of your fruits and veggies. So I put the purified water in with the, let's just say strawberries, and then I put a little baking soda in and it like fizzles everything and I let it sit for like 10, 15 minutes and then I rinse it all off. You want to rinse it really good because you don't want your fruit to taste like vinegar because ew. So that's an easy fix, right? There's easy things you can do right now to get yourself on this trajectory of a more natural, low-tox way of living. Another thing that I did personally was I threw away all of my perfumes. I used to be a big perfume gal, and now I like literally can't stand the smell of any perfume or cologne. It makes me like gag. So I don't wear any perfume ever anymore. I don't need it. I feel like I just naturally smell like sage because I light sage all day, every day. So I'm cool with that. People always think I smell like essential oils. I smell like a hippie, I guess, but I'm also cool with that. Everywhere I go, people are like, you smell like patchouli. I'm like, I don't even know what that smells like, but okay, cool. And there's a lot of mixed energies around organic food, non-organic food. Some people believe in it, some people don't. For me, it makes me feel better. And I have to go and do what's best for me. And so do you. And so maybe the things that I'm saying sound outrageous. Maybe you're like, I would never replace my toilet paper. That's cool. I get it. And like even my next level is this company also sells tissues. Tissues have so many PFAs in them. The forever chemicals are just going in your nose. Another thing that's on my list to order ASAP are non-toxic Band-Aids. Band-Aids have PFAs in them. Imagine putting that PFA, that forever chemical, right on an open wound, right? Why don't we know these things? Why are they not telling us these things? I don't understand. There are just so many little things to up-level your health. And it's interesting because like my mom, she's now on board with this and she's starting to change up her products and I see the way that she's living. And she's like, but before she got on board with it, she was like, Ashley, like, you know, I was raised on aluminum foil. I'm like, well, aluminum foil is like such a bad thing to cook with because it's literally like leaching into your food and then you're consuming aluminum, which is a heavy metal. Aluminum in the brain, like if you have brain fog and you cook with aluminum, remove the aluminum and I bet you'll eliminate your brain fog. We cook with only parchment paper, unbleached parchment paper, the brown parchment paper. Anything that's bleached, we don't want. How do you think they get paper towels so white and tissue so white? They have to use bleach. They have to use chemicals, right? It's really interesting. We replace like all of our towels with non-toxic organic materials, all of our bedding, our pillows. Yeah, there's so much and I don't want to overwhelm you, but I just want you to know about these things and you don't have to change everything just yet. Just take it one step at a time. That is my best advice for you is literally pick one thing at a time. Maybe you're like, okay, it's my makeup. I just want to do my makeup to start. Or I'm going to just clean up my diet. Or I'm going to do just my bedding. Like whatever it is that you want to do, all these little things add up over time. And the thing that my mom would say was like, you know, you were raised on canned corn, right? Well, canned vegetables were like a huge thing in my house. And there's a lot of toxicity in a can. And then also like corn is like the worst thing you can consume. It's super GMO. It's totally genetically modified. That's what GMO is. And if it's not organic, like, do not eat corn. Like, that is my recommendation. Do not eat corn. It is messing up your gut. It's not good for you. And anywho, the point is, the point she was making is that, look at us, we're fine. And I'm like, but are we fine? Because I have an autoimmune disorder. You have autoimmune disorders. Like, look around. People are sick. We're not fine, right? It's just what we're used to. And it's like we've experienced a lot of trauma from our environment, but it's so normal to us that we don't see it. And so we're just kind of tolerating the sicknesses and tolerating low energy and tolerating brain fog and tolerating not feeling optimal in your life. And I don't want to tolerate that. I want to live my best fucking life, and I know that I have to take responsibility for the products that I'm using, for the food that I'm eating. I have to control what I can control. I can't control the environment. I can't control what they put in our food. I can't control what they're spraying in our air or the things that they're putting in our water. But what I can control is what I consume. And I can make more mindful choices. And that is my goal for you, is to make more mindful choices, which is why I have these experts coming in to educate you on how to detox yourself, educate you on your gut health, educate you on biohacking. There's so much that is in your power, and it's time for us to take our power back when it comes to our health, our vitality, and preventative health care, because that's how you're going to be on the leading edge, personalized health care. I'm going to go into another episode on the gut testing I did, the hormone testing I did with Dr. Heather Finley. But I feel so much better. And now if I deviate and I have sugar, or if I deviate and I have gluten, which I'm actually going to stay gluten free, I feel like absolute shit the next day. I feel hungover. So I'm very mindful of my sugar intake, my alcohol intake, my gluten intake. And if you have autoimmune, you should just probably not be on gluten, especially Hashimoto's. I didn't know this, but people that have Hashimoto's, if they're having gluten, the thyroid receptors think that gluten, like when it gets leaked into your bloodstream, it thinks that it's a thyroid hormone, and it's not. So it's really interesting what happens when we go on this journey, because there's so many layers to it. It really is an onion that you're peeling back of life, of all these things that we consume and the products that we use, and it's a step-by-step process. So this is just the beginning of our journey here. I hope that this has opened your eyes to some degree. I'm going to share all of my products in the show notes in the Amazon shop as well. Anything that's not in the Amazon shop that I've spoken to will be in the show notes of things that I use, subscriptions that I have. And this is another reason why I love having my own business and being able to make these financial choices that are probably a little bit more expensive, but there's nothing more important than our health, right? I'd rather spend more money now on toilet paper and the things that I'm using, like all these products, these non-toxic products that I'm using, to have a healthier life long-term, right? And so it's worth every single penny to be able to invest in myself in this way. And that's really what you have to think of it as. It's an investment in your health, in yourself and your wealth, and in living your best life, because that's what we came here to this planet to do. So with that being said, thank you so much for listening. I hope that this has awakened you in a way to take action. And I would love to know what you're going to do to up-level your life in this way. I'm so excited for the guests that we have. You're going to enjoy these episodes immensely. And I can't wait to hear how you implement. So thank you for listening. And if you enjoyed today's episode, I would be so honored if you could leave me a review on iTunes, hit the 5 stars, and leave me a few words about how this episode has inspired you or impacted you or motivated you to change your life in some way. I'm sending you so much love, so much light, so much energy. Keep being the badass manifester that you are. Keep bringing mindfulness into your days and really starting to pay attention to the products and things that you consume to elevate the frequency, because ultimately that's what we're doing. When we do all this, it's elevating our frequency to attract more of what we want into our lives. So cheers to that. Woo! We did some work today. Thank you so much for listening. You know I love my BAM fam. If this episode resonated with you, please share it with someone who you know would love it too, because we live for the ripple effect over here. And how can you best support the show? Make sure you're subscribed, hit the 5 stars, and leave a review on iTunes, and let me know how the podcast has impacted you. I love being part of your real-time journey, so screenshot the episode and tag me and my guests on Instagram at Manifest with Ash. Now say it with me. I am my own power source. I am the master of my own energy, and I deserve everything that I desire. We don't just talk about it over here, we be about it. Now go get 'em.